Okay, welcome back guys. So that initial 52 items did take a little longer than normal, so that's why I broke this up. So if you did decide to go with the Gen kernel, then you would want to follow these lines. And just because you have the Gen kernel doesn't mean everything's going to work. So with, excuse me, with the PCI and USB utils, we want to say, see if we can here. PCI utils, or LSPCI, excuse me. And then that has everything that we need. So if we add a -K, this will actually give us our what we need to make this work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, so what we need to do is say cd usr src ls, then there's Linux, so if you say ls-a la, you notice that the Linux one is pointing to the 4.9.95/Gentoo, so we want to go into there. Okay, so what we're going to do is say scp dash, we're going to go back into this system that I'm on right now. 6. Granted, I am cheating, but I do not care. It's so much simpler just to add some stuff to an already working kernel than it is to just do it over again. I know I will have to eventually redo it, but I just don't feel like doing that right now. So backups, desktop, kernels. Let me go back into this. ls. So this is the one that we're wanting. So kernel config -4.9.95 Gentoo Irish. Oh, and then point it to this one. No. So we want to put it as the .config. Actually, hold on. Yeah, let's do it here. So now if we ls, there it is. So now we just need to copy kernel -config to .config. Okay, so let's go back home. Vim kernel. So what we're going to need to do is do an old def config. So make space old def config. I'm going to put this on a brief hold and I'll be right back once this is done. Okay, so now what we're going to do is make menu config. Okay, just making sure that we have everything that we need really fast before moving on. Going to go into the device drivers, network device. Actually, this is going to be let's go graphics support. So yeah, okay, so it did move over. So I have the AMD GPU, the Radeon, everything. So what we need to add to this, if we go back, we go to Cryptographic API. I'm actually gonna bring this up here. GS D, I'll say LVM. Okay, so what we need to put into this is this stuff right here. So we need to go into device drivers. Sorry. So hit exit, device drivers. And then we're going to go into the LVM RAID support right here. And now we have to make sure that we have a few things here. So what's the first one? Device mapper support, which we want that to be built in. Snapshot target, Y equals yes for that. Mirror target, yes. Multipath target, and then yes. And then the IOs, so yes and yes. Yes. I'm just going to leave the rest of them just in case something happens. So that's one thing that we need to do. The second one is let me see here, Decrypt. Decrypt. So this is the one that's most important. So we have device mapper crypt target support, so that's good. And now we have to go into the cryptographic API here. And now we have to make sure that we get all those. So we needed the AES, the XTS, and then the SHA-512s. So we're just going to follow this. So now let's get a little bit bigger here. So we're just going to go down here till we see XTS support. So we want to build that in. Then we need to go down to the SHAs. So I'm going just to build all of these in. SHA, SHA. We have the AES, so yes. User space. So I'm just going to go down here. So yes, 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 yes. We need the two fish. Yes, 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 yes. And the serpent cipher. Yes, 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 yes. I'll do the blowfish. Just another whirlpool. Yes, yes. Let me see here. Okay, so we're going to save that. Okay, exit. We're going into the general setup really fast, and yep, it does have my Irish on there. So we're going to hit exit, exit. So next thing we're going to do is just make J and then whatever the processor is, since we did change some stuff. So if I did this correctly, everything should build and work once we do the boot and everything else like that. So I should be able to boot in at the end of this video, and if it doesn't, I'll let you guys know that it didn't work, and I'll tell you what I fixed in the next video. But this can take the longest. That's why I wanted to shorten it up and bring an already working one over. And again, you do not need the gen kernel next. I did do that initially. Meshi in his video did do that, but mine worked with the other one. If I do need to do the init RAM FS, then I will let you guys know. But I shouldn't have to. But we'll see at the end of this video for sure. So I will pause this while that finishes up. Okay, so once that's done, I'm going to say make modules install. One second. Okay, I just misspelled modules. So I'm going to click that. So this will install all the drivers and everything else that I need. So it's going to be like my USB headset that I'm on right now and my webcam. So it shouldn't take too long. And then once that's done, what I'm going to do is do a deep world update and make sure that we have everything up to date as of right now. So that will be next. And that should actually probably take another hour or so to do. So I'm going to say emerge, AVU, A for ask, V for verbose, U for update, N for new use, D for deep world, and then at world. So the at world is just making sure that you're doing the whole world file or everything that you have installed. So there's only going to be 45 packages. If you want to look through this, it's just like console kit and stuff, open SSH, stuff like that. So we're just going to click yes. And I will come back to you once that's done. Okay, so once that's done, I'm going to do vim etc fstab. So we can get rid of most of this stuff here. Alright, so what we're going to say is dev, let's make this bigger, SDA2, mount point is boot, that's that one, no a time, I think it's 0, 1. One, 2. Okay. Then dev mapper Gentoo VG swap none SW zero zero. Just gonna check something really fast. Fstab. See how I have my swap. Okay. Type. Okay, yeah, I thought I messed that up. Swap. And then SW. 0 0. Dev mapper Gentoo VG root now it's going to be ext4. wait time 0 1. All right. So I have the boot, swap, and root. Okay, so we are good. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is save vim etc confd host name. We're gonna come down here, change word, Gentoo desktop, AV Linux firmware. So we're gonna get some firmware along here, so we're going to say yes. It's only one package, shouldn't take too long. So we're actually almost done with the basic with the base install for this. So I'm just going ahead here. We're going to do, we did host name, we'll do the hosts, and then need to add a few things here, and then yeah, we should be for the most part pretty good. So I will let you guys know once this is done. Okay, so once that's done, we're going to do a few more administrative stuff. So vim etc hosts. So what we need to do is come back down here, go all the way to the end, say Gentoo desktop, Gentoo desktop. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is change our passcode. Okay, so once that's done, this can be the little bit iffy part here. So one more thing really fast. Let's see, confd clock. I'm going to change this to local since I have Windows on another partition. Okay, so now we need to add a few things to Grub. So we need mount device mapper to that. So what we're going to do is just copy this over. And of course it's being a little slow here, but so because we added the mount and device mapper inside the kernel, it'll need that for the Grub so it can see where we're at. Okay. Okay, so what we need to do is go back into portage, ls, cd package use, ls. Okay, so now, okay, so in your etc portage package.use, you're going to do a grub file, and then you're going to say sys-boot/grub mount and device mapper you want on. So we're going to save that, and now we're going to emerge Grub. Now we have to make sure that device mapper and mount are in there. So yep, and I will be back once this is done. Okay, so once that's done, just need a few more steps here. So what we're going to do is go into the etc/default/grub. So vim etc default grub. So I just need to add a few more things here. Let's see here. Alright, so I'm going to say is grub underscore preload underscore modules equals LVM grub enable crypto disk equals yes, grub device equals dev ram 0, and then we need to add this line into, I believe it's this. I'm going to check that really quick, one moment. Okay, so yeah, it's under the grub command line underscore Linux. So inside here, let's say crypt root equals dev sda3, real root equals dev mapper Gentoo vg root fs type equals ext4 do lvm, and I think that's good. So I have preload modules LVM, grub enable crypto disk equals yes, grub device equals dev ram 0. I think we're good here. So now I actually need to get one more thing, since again I do have Windows on one of my other hard drives in the machine itself. So I need to get OS Prober. So what I'm going to do is get cronny syslog-ng and network manager alongside of this. So OS Prober cronny syslog-ng and network manager. So this should give us everything that we need, and another 45. We're going to say no really fast. Also wireless dash tools and net tools gen toolkit. Okay, so the gen toolkit will get us some like the eSelect, eQuery, eClean, and everything else like that. So we'll hit yes, and I will be back. Okay, so once that is done, we're going to make sure that this is still good. We're also going to mount bind host run to run LVM one more time. And now grub install -- modules equals Linux crypto search fs underscore uuid lux lvm, and then we'll say recheck dev sda. Oh, duh. Put a 0 instead of a dash. So everything looks fine, hopefully. We will know if the bind's held for the LVM or LVM TAD error. So now once that's done, grub mk config -o boot grub cfg. Yep, that failed again. Okay, so to fix this, we'll have to exit out of here. So exit. So I'm going to go back up. Okay, so to fix the LVME TAD, we have to redo everything that we did before. So we're going to say make dir mnt Gentoo host run, which it should still be there. So hopefully this will error back stating that there is one already. Okay, so it does say that file exists already. So what we're going to say is mount bind run, and then we're going to say that to Gentoo host run. Okay, true back into there, ls cd to run. So now mount bind host run to run LVM. Okay, let's just, so mount bind host run to run LVM. Now let's try this again. Grub mk config o boot grub cfg. Alright, 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to try this one more time. So we're going to say mount bind host run LVM to run LVM. Hopefully this should work. And once again, sorry for the delay. And so grub mk config o boot grub cfg. There we go. Okay, so it looks like you have to do the host run /LVM into run LVM. So that's how you fix that error message. Sorry to have paused for a little longer than normal. But yeah, so we're just about done. So we added cronny syslog ng, so we need to put it for the default. So rc update add syslog ng default, rc update add. There we go. So rc update add sshd default. So now this is the key one, so we need to say rc update add LVM to boot, because we're using LVM to unencrypt it, so it needs to be run at boot so it can go into the root directory. Okay, see anything else I need to do? I don't think so. So now we're going to set exit on mount dash t host run. Oh, Gentoo host run. Umount dash r mnt Gentoo. Okay, so I am going to reboot and I'll let you guys know if everything works out, so I will be right back. Okay, so that it did not work. I was a little too hasty with this. I didn't notice that it didn't show up with my kernel. So what we have to do is go back into this. So this will be a little tutorial on how to get back into a Lux encrypted LVM inside, because it's just a little bit different than the normal one. So okay, let's try this again. Okay, so unfortunately we have to get back into it and change the passcode again. And now let's try this again. So we're right back in. So what we need to do is mount dev sta2 to mnt gentoo boot, make directory mnt gentoo boot, mount that again. So now we have to do crypt setup lux open dev sta3 gentoo lv. Okay, and now we have to mount that. Mount dev mapper gentoo vg root mnt gentoo. And now everything else is pretty much the same. So we have to do the proc and stuff like that. So mount t proc mnt gentoo. Oh. Proc. Okay. Mount rbind dev mnt gentoo dev mount rbind. So it's pretty much the same thing. All I'm going to do is just trying to get back into the system. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt, but you know, whatever. It's not like you do this that often. Mount make our slave mnt gentoo sys dev. Just in case, I'm going to do this to Gentoo host run. Now chroot mnt bin bash. Okay, so now we're in. So now lsblk. Oh, did not hold the boot. Okay, so we're gonna hit exit. Mount dev sta2 mnt boot. Come on. Now let's true back in. Okay, so we have boot and root. Don't worry about the swap. Should work out once we reboot. So mount bind host run LVM to run LVM. Okay, so now, oh, I know what I forgot to do. CD user src Linux make install. I forgot to actually make install this, so it will go over to the boot. So now if we do grub mkconfig -o boot grub cfg, there we go. Now the boot is on there. So now exit umount mnt gentoo host run umount -r mnt gentoo. Okay, so now let's reboot this again and see what happens. I will be right back. Okay, so it did not boot. It does look like I do need a init ramfs for this. So that's what I will do, and we will continue off, but it does boot up if I do this. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. I will do my best to answer them, but I do need to go back and get the Gen kernel and install the init ramfs to it. So uh, everything should work from there. And sorry for the lengthy two videos, but the next video shouldn't take too long. Should take another half hour, give or take, and we should have a full-fledged encrypted Gentoo install in the next video. So I will be doing, Xorg, sound, and I'll let you guys decide which one you want me to do, XFCE, i3, or Plasma. So let me know which one you guys want to see, and I will see you guys in the next video.